Previously on Genshin Impact.
We heard there was a situation in Poisson, so we came as quickly as
Fucking child. Fucking shit. What? Child's like, hey yo, bro, I'm the primordial CEO. Let's link up, bro. What you doing, bro?
But by contrast, I could do nothing for them.
I mean, you gave him paychecks,
So
didn't
sorry.
you?
Man, the music sounds so... Stop!
Here isn't safe.
What the fuck? No! Eddie Lloyd, no! Catcher. This is truly a high-octane speed chase.
Back to the episode.
Now, without further
Damn.
ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial?
It just looks so like somber.
You will have the
situation.
opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
Oh god. Clarence like, all right. So we got to square up. Or you gonna defend your? She's like, wait. This is deicide. Oh.
I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Oh.
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
Oh
What
shit.
is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Oh, Cloran, you can put that under your belt. You made an Archon surrender.
Lady Farina,
Oh,
what is
damn.
the meaning of this?
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
Looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes. You are not the only ones
shit.
to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed in myself.
Damn. Anyway, get to the
But
fucking
now,
stand.
it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice. This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon,
That is,
Focalor,
waypoint.
will now begin.
Woohoo!
All right. Everyone just stand there like, okay, Reginald.
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right?
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor
Yes,
to
who it
please
is.
take the stand.
God damn it.
Is that
Thank you, Your Honor.
very well? Then
And
please
it
speak,
is
witness
so.
of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent.
You know, to tell the truth, and it still turned out like this in the end. As long as we can defeat Hurina in court, we'll still have a chance to figure everything out.
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins, just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep
Fair
after
enough.
the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to
Yeah.
the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the
Awesome.
president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain
As
clothes
expected.
and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean
And you got
the
played like a
ones
fiddle.
who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate
giant
in the
magic box,
greatest
the
magic
GMB.
performance in all of Fontainian history.
That's
I will
right.
not lie, that is a
That
good
house was a
performance.
magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire
Yeah.
gap between Poisson and Areneas. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My
This will
thanks,
truly go down in
Verena.
history, Lenny.
Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off.
Man, thank you, Papa. Thank you, Father. Thanks, Daddy.
The earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
That's right. It wasn't a sign
Yes.
of another disaster to come.
Then,
Sorry
I
about
can
that.
guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
Thank you.
As for you, traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage. Oh?
You guessed wrong. My mission was to give you one last chance. We hoped that you'd share your secret with us before the magic box arrived onto the stage.
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
The last person who said that, the last person who wanted to see something to the very end kind of got kind of sliced up, but you're an Archon, so you're good. Let's judge her, man.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an
Oh,
Archon.
shit.
Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait. What
Oh
was that?
shit.
Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey,
A fry
came here thinking
fraudster.
that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
Charge accepted.
Oh shit.
Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not
stood.
guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah. Even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned
Who
her
knows?
identity either. Sure, Lady
up with
Farina
your
can
hair?
be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can
Yes.
promise you as the god of justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
No.
If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am? And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
I mean, there's a plethora of ways. I've met a bunch of fucking people who live for more than a fucking 100 years. Child. You're child. You're child. You are child.
That doesn't sound right. Paimon doesn't think this clue can be
It's
used as
perfectly.
compelling evidence to build our case.
But she's child. Alright.
First
I
of all,
forgot to expose her.
you may be a member of another
There's the
long-lived
waypoint.
race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't
Where's
the case,
the
there
Paimon with
could
glasses?
be other ways to extend your life.
Where's the Paimon with glasses?
Who
Such
gave
as
you
a
that
curse.
idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A
What is the
curse?
veracity of the
I
claim?
once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse.
Oh,
But in light of this claim,
so Archons are
perhaps
cursed?
what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
You sensed it too, huh, Nervalet?
Could you just be a cursed human?
Is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Oh.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations
sense.
of my authority have
What
served
do you
the
do?
nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn
How
their
so?
eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the endemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
That one trial proved the opposite means actually has no control over the Oratrice at all. Yeah, what happened to child?
You tried to reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear
Yeah.
at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Farina, I believe
sure?
a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself
Tell him,
unable to
Nervlet.
defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick
We're in a
of
court of
rhetoric,
law,
Lady
Farina.
Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been
Oh,
created
shit.
by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon. Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. And it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
We just said divine and flawed don't really
She's
mix
throwing out all
well, you know?
kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
You can put the Oratrice aside for now. But then, Miss Farina, could you give us a brief demonstration of your power as an
As
Archon?
an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
There you go.
You don't need to go that far.
A brief demonstration of your power over Hydra should be quite harmless. Surely an Archon can at least match the capacity of a human with a vision.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Oh my
Indemnitium.
god,
Yes,
Farina.
it's all because of Indemnitium. All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium. Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Truly something true.
A huge stretch.
Yeah, no matter how generous
Oh my
an Archon
God.
can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
Isn't it Marco?
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me? Please?
You're losing them,
You've
Farina.
got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Farina, you're not a
Enough.
god?
That's enough.
Don't tell me I pulled for someone who's not a fucking Archon.
It has been established that all Fontainians
What?
can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navi,
Let's dissolve
please
this
apply
bitch.
to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be
Super
the
sorry.
last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the
Oh, dear.
real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
Yeah, she literally put a fucking gun to her head. Navia literally put a fucking gun to Farina's head and said, you can either pull the fucking trigger,
If Lady
or
Farina is
you
indeed
just
just a
confess.
human, she's probably Fontainian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
Oh.
Lady Farina,
Farina?
this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that.
What are you waiting for?
But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only mean...
Oh dear, Farina.
Is she really planning to... That's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
Oh!
Hey!
She had...
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you
You're wearing
believe me
gloves.
now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water!
Your little homies wanna be like on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light.
Really? Was this not the most obvious
The demon
thing in the
child.
world?
Miss Siegewien? If you are present, Miss Siegewien, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siege, Win? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewien.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegewien. Lady Farina, you may return to the
Yeah,
defendant's
but
stand.
that was
Oh, wait.
seawater from
What
Paulson.
did
That
you
wasn't
just say?
primordial
I
seawater.
didn't get
It's not like the fucking
Should that be
Sinfall
enough to prove my innocence?
who brought unadulterated PSW.
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve
Therefore,
an
it would have
actual
been
human.
dissolved.
After all, on the off chance that something
Yeah,
entirely
you don't actually expect it to be
unexpected
dumb enough
might
to
occur,
actually try and kill herself.
we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness.
You got
It's a
played,
great
fool.
thing that the direct sample wasn't actually
Okay,
used.
no,
Farina could have...
concentration of water is secure.
I can't believe... You...
Hadn't she given up on everything left?
Listen to me, everyone!
You're getting
Please
desperate.
don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! What happened just now didn't prove a single thing! Think about it! How can you conclusively
prophecy.
prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water?
Oh, she's losing it. She's losing it,
everyone,
folks.
Anyone, just listen to me! I swear, am
Oh,
your
dear.
Archon!
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Farina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
You got fucking served. Every argument you put, countered.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
Literally do the Holy Harbinger pose.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens,
What is
Farina is...
Is it love to stay? We gotta win, bam, shang-a-lang, and the sha-la-la-la-la-la thing. Wham, bam,
guilty.
You are guilty, Farina de Fontaine. She had to take a seat. She had to take a seat like, oh shit.
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Farina is...
What? What, is she innocent?
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
Did the Oratrice just declare Farina to be innocent?
No. The Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty to be punished via the death sentence.
Oh shit. Well...
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a
Well,
myth.
Farina, you're gonna get executed now.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate this quickly?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Instead of Farina, the Oratrice rendered on the Hydro Archon.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place.
She's gone catatonic.
But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Oh.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is
Yes, Framine?
the trial still going?
I mean, we just concluded
Framine.
it, but I suppose...
You finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
Okay, okay, good thing. Alright, daddy's boy.
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh.
Oh shit.
So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water, but Has the trial already concluded? Then... doesn't that mean I've come too late? Oh no. Father will be disappointed in me.
Don't worry, Femine. The mystery hasn't been resolved yet.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Femine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Everybody's a fucking Oceanid.
Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon.
Then, thanks for rubbing salt on the freshly exposed wound.
Hydro Archon. Do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kind of talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
An association between the contents of the slates and those events in real life.
Let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Paimon will do her best to help you remember. The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them.
So you're the only person who actually addresses the floating island as Celestia. Like, everybody else just said a floating island. Paimon, you're the only one who says it shows Celestia.
This must be the point when the Hydro Archon... Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! So that's how you can make sense of it. But then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Well, it's either... Well, I don't see what
Let's
other option
hear
we have. The first slate reveals that Fontaine is not real humans.
Linny, did you hear that?
We're not human.
Not real humans.
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
That's crazy. How every Fontainian is a little Oceanid. The second slate reveals the crime of the Hydro Archon.
And it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably anchored Celestia by creating humans without prior permission.
I mean, there are now Barbados thing that they say that creation is a sin.
Explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
Yeah, that's quite the irony. As for the first slate, I'm still convinced that it should come after the fourth slate.
The image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
The fourth slate depicts the fulfillment of the prophecy as it's already widely known.
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of... Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth.
Why,
However,
thank you, Mr.
while
Nervin.
you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins... In the Fontaine of Old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land.
Look at them swimming. Look at them Oceanids swimming.
The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
It's gotta be like a mind fuck to like see.
Alas,
like,
your hypothesis regarding the third and
my
fourth
entire
stone slates
origins
was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct.
So then they're
A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials and Justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice.
Shit. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Look at that go. So that means the fourth one about to happen right now.
It refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So,
and she's
what
sitting
you're
on her
saying
throne.
Is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
What should we do?
Feels like there's no other way out of this.
No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels like to be a prisoner of fate?
If that's
Welcome
the
to
case,
the club, buddy.
Does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
I mean, you just look at Farida.
Traveler,
Look at the
I
slate.
would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes? However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
Could it be... What is the source of the catastrophe?
A small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
I don't know what me becoming Lindy's attorney has to do with it.
It was both dream.
There we go. Whale.
And reality.
The whale. It's all because of a fucking whale.
Culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
It's all because of a fucking whale. Oh shit. The whale's like, oh, you called me? Oh. Oh, you gotta be kidding. Oh, he said, oh, you called me? I'm here, motherfucker. This whale, what did we do to you, man? Oh, he just munched on it. Oh, shit, Ajax. We're feeding this well. Oh. Okay, child. Child, you good? You kinda look a little fucked up. And he went back into the abyss. This man cannot escape it.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the opera house? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
Could have been a bit bigger, but I guess it just reduced its size. Or that, or it
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here.
Because I heard
that
us
whale
talking
does
shit
not
about
belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels.
Should it be reducing if he's fucking drinking
And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontainians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Oh, we're just primordial seawater
Precisely.
tanks, huh?
That whale finds the blood of Fontainians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontainians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's managed to recover its strength?
You mean Tartaglia and
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner.
Yeah,
From the way he looked,
catatonic as
he must
shit.
have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
If it's been like fucking at least 4 days. So he's been fighting for like 4 days straight, or even long. No, actually, our sentence was 45 days. He's been fighting that bitch for nearly 2 months.
We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy, all we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself. Even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
That's not something I will accept.
Is the
We've
whale a
already done
descendant?
everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe. That's just not fair.
How would you kill the big ass whale? Would you like to activate your inner?
Indeed,
your inner Captain
that's
Ahab?
not how a grand performance
Captain
should
Ahab?
end.
I'll fight it to the end, no matter what.
Using the
So the
Second Amendment,
prophecy
right?
will
I
be
see.
fulfilled no matter what, huh?
even if the prophecy will be fulfilled, there will still be a way to save everyone? Did I miss something? Wait, I forgot about Farina. What was it that she wanted to say to me that last moment in the giant magic box? What is her real secret? Oh shit. Oh dear.
What's happening with the oratories?
Oratories going haywire. What the
It is
fuck?
preparing to carry out the death sentence.
What?
She out. She's already DC'd. She's disconnected. She's like,
No,
whatever.
I still need answers.
Oh dear. That's a big blade.
You.
Hello there, Farina.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
Farina?
Farina.
How can I help you?
Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor. Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe, now does it? She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum.
I really like the design, and the hair
I
is
had
very
to
pretty
outwit
too.
the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time.
So you wanted to play the fiddle against
I'm
God.
a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and
What
not
does
to
that
mention
mean?
the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me quite a colossal mess to clean up. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids.
So you are Oceanid.
Transformed into a human by Egeria's hand.
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, To be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her.
Oh. Damn. But she's perfect. Like she's all I want to be. Truly, I'm happy to have her. Anyway, I cursed the fuck out of her.
Of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy, under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
So you just wanted, your idea was basically let the prophecy fulfilled, but we're just gonna make them believe that the prophecy is fulfilled. So Celestia can be like, all right, shit passed. All right, boys, what's next on the agenda? The Dark Sea. Okay. In reality, Fontaine was never fucking
Farina is
drowned.
only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
Yeah, being dragged and all that shit, ragged on, especially these last
It
few
has
days.
indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years. And all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
Shit must have been tough for her. I came into contact with Farina's tears. If I remember correctly, tears often contain a being's strongest emotions. With sufficient strong hydrosensitivity, I could form an emotional connection, just like I did with that oceanid at the Fountain Lucine. Wait, could this be Farina's inner world? What's she doing on stage? That's like the reflection of her inner self. Alright.
Oh, who permitted you to come onto this stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self, but I must ask you to keep to the rules. All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance.
I don't see an audience here.
Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it?
Jeez. Damn. She's just constantly putting on a face when she just wants to fucking break down.
The eyes of countless Fontainians are upon me. I must, at all times, display the utmost elegance and nobility.
She had to wire herself to become like this.
Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're mirror me? How can this be?
Folks look so cool.
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad. Let's go with that.
Mirror me. What do you wish to say?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Wait. I know. I think. I don't know why, but it's in my head somehow.
It's ingrained. They drilled it into your head, Farina. The voices in your head.
The
Trust
people
them.
will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Oh, very good. You know it well.
What's going on? I can't seem to remember anything clearly. The only thing I know for sure is this prophecy. Will it really come to pass?
Yes.
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will come to Fontaine sooner or later. Things will develop just as the prophecy declared. There is no escaping it.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian just like them. Will I dissolve too?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people a chance to turn things around. It is the reason why you met me today. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
This false lore is like blunt. She's blunt as fuck.
So there's still hope after all. Goodness, you frightened me. You spoke so much and with so much certainty. As for the suffering, well, I will admit that the first thing that came to mind was, why do I have to be the one to suffer? But if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? So if I've already met you as my magical meeting in this world,
Magical
if there were
meaning.
scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side and my pain on the other, is it not obvious where the scales should tilt?
Somewhere around there.
You truly are the perfect human. My ideal. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role. That of the new Archon.
Play as a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your identity be revealed, then all hope will be lost.
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god without being exposed.
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. You simply need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what such an entity would be like.
A raucous individual of high stature.
Your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity, but contending against humanity.
This Furina info is
I'm still
really
not sure I
plastering
understand,
me.
but I'll try. I'll try to do this. So, how long am I going to have to play this role?
500 plus years,
To
probably.
accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years. You will endure and not grow old until your task ends. But I promise you, all will eventually end in a magnificent and dramatic trial, and everyone will be saved.
A trial, huh? How exciting. I'll be looking forward to it.
You did not enjoy that trial, Furina. Let me tell you that. You went fucking catatonic. Ascension speech, Furina. Is the traveler there? No, I don't see him. Oh wait, just gotta...
The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession, but this is my first time facing the people. What should I say to most appear like a god? To be honest, I still don't know. Perhaps I should first try to act natural.
Some courage.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the Opera Epiclese. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, I am Verena de Fontaine, your new Archon. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be my honor to guide you all. As the god Focalor, the god of justice, I shall do all within my power to lead you into an age of fairness and justice.
I would fucking explode if I were in that fucking position. I do not know how to talk
Once
to such
again,
a crowd.
thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send them to the Maison Cardinalise. The future of Fontaine will require us to work together, after all. This should do it. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was able to convey my thoughts just fine. Okay, and next.
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would
Damn.
have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the difference between her and an ordinary person, then?
If you ask me, perhaps the
Damn.
succession didn't actually happen. She might just be a Maison-back puppet.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake? Oh, this is bad. If I get exposed here, there'll be no saving the people from the prophecy. Right. Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Calm down, Verena. Think. What do the people want? How would they imagine a god to speak and act?
Be
Assertive,
godlike.
with a strong sense of presence. One who can dispel all doubt. That is the character I'm fated to play.
Alright, Verena, do it.
ones such as you are deserving of my rule. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership of this opera house, would the children of Fontaine follow them? Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified to witness wondrous trials alongside my august self, here in this opera house. You may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut that suited the atmosphere. Now then, let us be reintroduced.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
A personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this
Good
flow
job.
and restart my accession speech. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your ardor for justice. We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms amid sin.
Turn up the drama.
The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its God. On one side, it must carry fairness and justice. And on the other, praise and applause. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the fires and drink to the future of Fontaine.
She is going
There
full
is
throttle.
no trouble in this world that justice cannot solve. All that is needed is for you, my people, to believe in it, heart and soul. So long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the Opera Epiclese, so long as I stand before the Oratrice, I shall even judge the gods of this world!
Yeah. Woo. If only you knew how you ended up 500 years later. All right, Act 3, Opera House, Farina. Let's go. Woo!
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now, was I not just at the Opera House in person? Leave these kinds of things to Neuvillette. Besides, none of these trials were the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of trial are you truly looking forward to?
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial to end all things. How could you hope to understand?
She's just waiting
That's
for this
true.
to
I
end.
fear I lack the ability to grasp your divine thought, Lady Archon.
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your duties. The trial I await. It will come one day.
And then another day passes. And another day.
Lady
And
Farina,
another.
I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see me.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance instead. Long have you stood in line to meet me, have you not? Oh, I'm afraid that's just an inevitable consequence of my divine charm. All right, Deoteria, is it? How is your son's illness?
You remembered me, and you knew of my family too. He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I. He was the one who forced me to seek an audience with you, and to bring your words back to him.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen again in the future, please do not hesitate to come and tell me. Going down to citizens' homes every so often, while not usual practice, should serve as a fine change of pace.
Ah, you're such a gentle and wise god. Thank you once again, on behalf of my son.
She goes about the duties of an Archon while being completely human. She's just slowly but surely getting tired of this shit. But she keeps on going. She keeps on pushing because she does not want everybody to die.
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific parameters you asked to take note of, I'm afraid things still don't look good.
I see. It's as I thought then. As your god, I did already expect this, but I wanted to see how far your human wisdom would allow you to analyze it. All manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come to pass. Forget it. That's not something you need to worry about right now.
Well, as I understand it, the Fontaine Research Institute is also trying to find a way to counter the rising water levels.
Really? Have they found anything?
I'm afraid that they haven't found any effective solution thus far.
Oh, is that so? Well, no wonder. This issue has reached the realm of the gods after all. Still, their spirit is praiseworthy.
Damn, I even feel now the whole assassination thing on her
Finally
is
over. I haven't had a moment to breathe this whole time.
like the whole assassination thing is probably like, damn, she really got fucked up from that because she's really just trying to get by, just hoping for things to just pass, and then all of a sudden somebody literally tries to fucking kill her, and she's like,
Everything's getting on track. There are no longer any voices of suspicion. Maybe this is fine. I just need to keep going, and everyone will be saved. All right, Farina, don't think too hard about this. You need rest. Tomorrow's a new day.
tomorrow's a new day. Let's go. Woo! Act 4. Let's go. Opera House Farina. Woo!
Lady Farina,
I've
here
been
are the new
I've
trial
been
reports
waiting
for
for the
latest
fucking
cases,
sequel.
as well as a summary of the follow-up.
There'll be no need for that. I've seen them already. There's no need to go back over scenes I've witnessed in person before.
Lady Farina, I've waited so long for this chance to see you in this manner.
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen. This joyous moment is an honor for us both.
She's just doing this
Lady Farina,
again and
we're
again
detecting
and
significant
again.
hydrological anomalies near Poisson.
Understood.
Poisson.
Keep monitoring. Keep me informed should anything come up at the Institute.
I bet that whole Edwin fiasco took her for a fucking
Don't
loop.
let anything slip today. I must show the people that there is nothing to worry about. I just
And then repeat.
don't know when these days will end. I feel utterly exhausted. Best to rest early today, too.
Is there an Act 5? There's an Act 5. Let's go. Let's go. Act 5. Woo! The sequel we all needed. If there's an Act 6, this is actually going to be crazy. There's an Act 6. Oh, that's a lot of scene. Oh dear.
Lady Farina,
I got more than.
it's like a dream being able to speak with you up close like this.
I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you was Madame Deoteria, almost 20 generations ago.
And what a fine family yours is indeed. It brings me great joy to meet such a faithful believer, a descendant of a line most ardent.
She's cracking.
Surely you exaggerate, Lady Farina. My lady?
What is it, good citizen?
Are you crying?
Uh-huh. Oh, really now? I didn't even notice.
Oh yeah, she is going through it. She is getting put through the fucking ringer. Holy shit, I didn't realize you're going through so fucking much.
This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god whose dominion is the waters, can I?
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation of your power, then. Oh, Archon, I am honored to have witnessed it. Honored indeed.
She is going through it. She can't take this shit no more. But she keeps on pushing. She keeps on pushing. She really was gonna like cut it off, like pulse on. I can't do this shit no more. But see that I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going.
So lonely. Just how much longer?
Fucking hell,
Hundreds of years
so
must
much.
have passed by now. Perhaps the show must go on for hundreds more. I never imagined that it would hurt so much. Have I reached my limit? No. Perhaps I reached it long ago. Today I didn't even notice my own tears. I want to tell someone, anyone, about this. But would that not destroy all I've done so far? I've conducted so many investigations across the centuries. But there's not even a sliver of hope that we might break the prophecy. All I can do is keep heart. I must maintain this act. It is the only way to save Fontaine. Please, mirror me. You have to succeed.
Alright, next act. Oh, we got more acts. Let's go. Oh, 1, 8, 2, 3, 6, 7, 6. I didn't count that shit right.
Farina,
what the hell is that?
You don't have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone. Your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
That's a lot of scenes.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to confide in someone. Just share it with me. I'm what you'd call a witness.
A witness? Yes. I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you? If that's the case... He's right. I could confide in him, couldn't I? But if things don't play out as expected, the people of Fontaine will be the ones to pay the price. No, Farina. You shouldn't be selfish. But what if it's really alright? Farina, you've worked so hard for so long. Surely it would be okay to put yourself first for once. Just this once. Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find someone in whom you can confide your frustrations and sorrows? Surely it could not hurt. If you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, it might never come by again. Think about it.
Jeez.
Long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. I am Farina, the Archon of Fontaine. Everything will surely get better. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my performance until the curtains fall.
She stays resolute.
Fine.
Golly, you got a fucking will of steel. I'll tell you that, Farina. Although you falter, you continue pushing forward. You are stubborn as a mule.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, you must first deceive yourself. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, Fontaine would have been doomed to the most tragic fate. It seems that trusting humanity was the right decision after all.
I believe that I understand how your deception
almost
works.
Folded at the last
But that is only half the truth, is it not? How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine? That is the most important thing.
Ah, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine, yes?
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core chamber. It now seems that that person was you, hidden within the machine all along. Am I right?
Alright, it wasn't Sandrone. I'll have to live with
And
that, but
then
okay.
I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it? Alas, your understanding of this device still lacks sufficient depth. In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
Oh.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take down the god of justice, it will also take down the divine throne upon which she has been placed.
Oh.
I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose while Farina suffered? My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnitium within the Oratrice. But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to Fontaine. The vast majority had to be accumulated to enact this death sentence.
A death sentence so powerful that
It
you
was
kill a
all
god.
part of your plan then? Both the trial and the sentence?
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it only been used for that purpose. Almost all of it has now been stored within the Oratrice. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by Celestia, and breaking through the institution that is the Seven.
Oh shit. Let me read that one more time.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the Hydro Archon. The destruction of that divine throne If I do not misunderstand your intent, you must be...
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course.
Oh shit, he
In
gonna be
other
full
words,
dragon now.
this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
But...
Oh, what? Getting sad again, are we? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign. And this is the face you make.
all you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know.
Gotta play God.
Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked. Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they not guilty of essentially the same crime? Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principles stole the power you ancient dragons possessed. I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that your original powers should be returned to you? Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process of pursuing human existence itself. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontainians as humans and their right to exist in this world would be Fontaine's original justice. In other words, existence was Egeria's justice, and to me, justice is the continuation of that existence, defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on. That should be the justice enthroned over all others. At this point, we, whether it be myself or all other Fontainians, have shouldered the burden of this sin for far too long.
Indeed, this is starting to feel like some Attack on Titan shit. These sins are have been held for too long.
The highest judge in our land. When you regain your full power as an elemental sovereign, what verdict shall you pass upon us?
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see now that that was your idea too. At last. I now understand the true purpose behind this position. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. And I have even attempted to feel as they feel. You are a devious one, Fussalor. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
This is very emotional. I see why people praise this so much.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervalette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
I am speechless.
I, Eudex Nouvelet, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
So Leslie's gonna be like, the fuck? What the did they excuse me? The fuck you just did? Can't wait for Celestial to figure out what the fuck just happened. They will be appalled. They will be utterly perplexed.
What just happened? Has the death sentence been carried out?
No, he
Was
forgave
that
his
bright
people's
light
sins.
some sort of misdirection? I have a feeling that something huge just happened.
But
No, y'all
since we're all
tripping.
still alive and haven't been dissolved, I assume whatever happened was good for us.
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
It's just a whale,
Didn't
man.
you say just a moment ago that it can't be defeated?
He's a god now. He's
I have
true
gained
dragon
the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate the power of the primordial sea from that creature. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry.
You just
Traveler,
now?
now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice. The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine, the beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is the all-devouring narwhal. Come with me,
Go eat
traveler.
that motherfucker.
The hour of execution has come.
We gonna execute a narwhal, yeah. We gonna be some poachers right now. We gonna poach that motherfucker. Oh, that's a big one right there. That's a chonker. Oh, here we go.
It's huge!
Give me a big ass
I've already done
sword.
my
What
best
the
to separate
fuck?
the power of the primordial sea away. Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. We shall share a part of the ancient dragon's power with you. We shall look for an opening together.
I'll punch the shit out of it. I'll punch the shit out of it. How about that? It's a whale.
I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility.
Come on!
Shut up, motherfucker. Shut the fuck up.
You're stuck now!
What the fuck? It's blasting. That's a big rift.
Let's get it up!
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. Chance will present itself.
It's just a big whale. It's just a big angry whale. What the fuck?
Why is there a hole in the thingy over there?
Who the fuck are you?
Really scary!
I don't know what mine is. Oh, he's dead. What happened? Oh, the whale Angie. Oh, we killed him. Oh, and he got out the cane too. Alright, boys, meat's back on the menu, boys. Oh shit. What the fuck? Oh shit. You fucking launched that motherfucker. You fucking sitting that
Thanks for
motherfucker
helping with
flying.
the cleanup. Should have been my job, but oh well.
You fucking yoinked that motherfucker. Sent him fucking flying. I don't know why that shit made me laugh. It's just the way he fucking went into the fucking portal.
It's just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime.
Master's pet?
Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Paimon has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression that she was the less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak.
Nice leg.
But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without using power from beyond this world. So you may speak to me as equals.
What sort of person would take the all-devouring
I
narwhal
have
as
to
a
agree.
pet?
It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks. All in all,
It is cute.
it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? I think you might have missed the point.
The point being?
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, Child's
Damn, your legs are
master's
cool.
master. Wait.
So Skirk has a
right.
master?
So you don't know him. Sorry, I
And it's
assumed you
him.
did. His name is Sertologi.
What? We find out who one master is, and now we gotta figure out who the other one is. What, is his master's master also as
I
a
am
master?
unfamiliar with that name.
Yeah, nobody knows who the fuck that is. It's a fucking nobody.
So Master is insufficiently famous.
Yeah, he's a fucking nobody.
How should I describe him then? Have you heard of the name The Fowl?
No, but I guess he read the Foul Legacy.
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary? Vetterfulnir then? Or Gold Rhine-daughter?
Wait, is it... The Visionary, yes. Gold Rhine Daughter, yes, but you said him. But... fucking Gold's androgynous, I don't
We've
know.
heard. Rhine-daughter's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. I don't actually
So
know them
Gold
either.
is Skirk's master.
But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhine-daughter. They are both pursuing some form of perfection.
Oh, okay, so it's not Gold.
Wait, didn't you also mention a visionary person? Paimon didn't quite catch their name.
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the heavenly principles.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne.
Oh dear.
Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
That's a bird. Oh. Yo, where's Risley fucking Risley's art? Yeah, y'all kind of fucked.
Hey! Help! Over
There's
here!
the arc. No, that's not the arc. That's just a regular ass boat. Risley, what the fuck was your industrial project for? Where's the Fortuna? Oh, there it is. Fucking finally.
All hands, initiate emergency rescue! Hurry! Hey, lend a hand!
You actually have a fucking airship.
Look! The water's receding! It's a miracle!
The water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong! The prophecy was wrong!
The prophecy was wrong. How's it feel? The nation's still kicking.
We're saved. The prophecy was wrong.
Yeah, so let's just go be fucking pissed, but hey. Y'all made it. Imagine it's the same as that. Oh, y'all fucking pissed me off? Just as a fucking blockade. Like, oh, that's what you get for all. Y'all think y'all could deceive me? Y'all could just deceive me like that?
The Soul Renewed!
Oh,
the Spina di Rasula talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet with Miss
Poisson.
Navia, spokesperson of the Spina di Rasula, and we spoke about Poisson's present and future. Old soil can
Nice.
still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is like seeing a small cookie when you're starving late at night. You just need a little of it. Skyship Winglet, lunar brain of the Fontaine Research Institute. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute, with Jurier turning out to be a once-overlooked hidden gem. People always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter person achieve a miracle, they would find it all the harder to find a word with which to classify him and his team. Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
They might have been real big shots from the start.
Would you like a magic pocket?
What sort of gadget is it?
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal, but if you see any of your things floating around, you can use this to carry them. Or you could trick a friend into doing it for you.
Trick a friend?
Nice.
I wonder which of my friends would fall for that.
You have friends? Oh, we're friends?
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
Is this what you meant by, I'll help you make some more friends?
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your contact, please?
Hey! That's my boy!
Sure.
Come on, come on.
Please, write down my address.
That's my boy right there. Making a new friend, that's my boy.
Socialize. That's all right. We were more than happy to help. So, what's she doing now?
Oh, I guess you haven't heard. Well, after Lady Farina left, Father and Monsieur Neuvillette opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her as a diplomatic gift.
What?
Diplomatic gift? A gnosis?
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it over, there were actually a number of things going for it. It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring narwhal down. Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine and Poisson.
Well, that's true,
That is
but
true.
this is a gnosis we're talking about. Doesn't this seem a bit irresponsible?
I would agree, but I've also heard that it seems that Monsieur Neuvillette has had a significant change of heart regarding the matter.
So there's some reason for this that only Neuvillette knows about?
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself. Ah, yes, speaking of which, I did see him strolling around the entrance to the Fortress of Meripede a while back.
Isn't he real busy and stuff? Paimon didn't think he'd have the time for that. But back to the topic. The gnosis was given to the knave, right? What about Child?
They say that he's returned to
Yeah, where the fuck is
Snezhnaya
he?
to recover from his wounds. I
Oh,
hear that the
okay.
recent disaster really did a number on his health.
Alright. I thought he got sent to another fucking plane of existence the way you fucking screwed just fucking launched that motherfucker. Well, I guess I cannot call him one of my war buddies.
That's true.
I'll look at my
When you
war
think
buddy.
about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui. To think we'd be allied with them this time.
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Papa!
Father.
Daddy!
Well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the traveler by chance. Please do not pay my accomplishments in Fontaine too much mind. I would have done them regardless.
Oh, look at you flexing.
Are you going to take the gnosis back to Snezhnaya?
That is our duty as harbingers, yes. Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand goal in mind, it is inevitable that we must wear many masks. Switching my masks
Are you a Helicho?
is something I've always done. Well, that
Will you
depends
keep-
on many
will you keep to
things.
your position?
No one truly knows what the future holds. What good is honesty if you can't rely on it forever? As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners.
Actually, I just remembered something. Please help us
vision?
deliver this.
All right. I'll remember to return it. Thank you for keeping it safe for him this entire time.
So we're just gonna give Child's vision to this lady. You know what? Whatever.
And that's a wrap for me. Huh? You're...
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello. if I'm not mistaken, there are diplomatic channels I'll need to report to take a photo of you.
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our dear magicians and our upcoming rookie talent.
I will.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant.
I
shall continue my walk while the weather remains so agreeable. Farewell.
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture.
All right, then. We'll be handing out pockets in some other districts later, so we'll get going now. Have a good day, you two.
Same you, it's nighttime, but alright.
Shall we go see what Neverlette's doing? As long as he's not so busy that he doesn't have
What?
time to chat anyway.
What? I can't hear you because of the fucking waterfall. Neverlette.
So, you really are here, Neverlette. Paimon didn't think you were going to have free time this hour of the day.
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. He took the time to greet me earlier when he passed this way. In any case, you came at a
here
good
all
time.
this time?
I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meeting, so I may explain some things that I haven't had the time to before.
Aw, Paimon's glad that you remembered. Thank you for keeping us on your mind, what with you being busy and all. Alright, let's have it.
So do you know where my sister is?
Fontaine actually saved. The whole business is still quite the mystery to us.
Our sins were forgiven.
It is strange how words can often leave a bitter taste in the mouth when it finally comes time to say them out loud.
Oh yeah, it happens, man. Don't worry. And the truth concerning what he saw that day. Force Lords deceived the heavenly principles.
Whoa. So that's what happened? Focalor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fully fledged elemental dragon sovereign!
In that case, there's no longer 7 Archons. Now it'd only be 6 Archons. Cause the throne of water has been destroyed, so that means it's the 6 now, not the 7.
What you did to save the Fontainians from dissolving.
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the hydro element. Fontainians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that of mimics. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood, after the fashion in which life was first brought into being on this planet. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontainians became true humans, and thus would naturally no longer be dissolved by water from the primordial sea.
Focalor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone.
You could say that it was that moment that the Fontaines were truly
and in a manner of speaking,
born.
Focalor finally managed to fulfill the original Hydro Archon's wish to
Man,
turn
Celestia got fucking
humans
played.
into real people too.
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell
Yes,
you
where's
the
my
truth
sister?
as I know it.
Alright, let's see. What's the question about my sister? Okay, whatever.
I have
About
investigated
the
his
initial
case
verdict.
along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring narwhal. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. At most, he would have had tangential liability. As for the judgment passed by the oratrice during the trial, whether it was due to that liability by association or Focalor deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he would be able to hold the creature off, I cannot say.
Guess Focalor had Fontainians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to her that they finally became real humans. Hang on a second. Paimon suddenly got another question. Back when Fontainians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also transformed Oceanids?
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontainians would often come to the Fountain of Lucine to pray for children?
Yeah, Lynette said the fountain is where all the waters in Fontaine converge.
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom, but instead a form of ritual. Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans in the coming months.
Paimon sorta gets it now. Either way, it seems like this ritual won't be of any further use, but it'll probably live on as a local custom.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Yeah, about
Alright, what about the future Fontaine, sir?
Farina has already left. What's that all about?
Ah, Lady Farina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me, before leaving the Opera House. I related Focalor's words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted. She simply said that she was tired and needed to rest.
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely needs to rest. She's been doing this shit for a good
Having
minute.
said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the Opera House. Not unlike how an ordinary person might.
She lived in the fucking Opera House.
Got a place to stay, right?
You need not worry.
Who knows?
I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, take time to heal. But now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalor the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens and lead a normal life.
What about you then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full powers as the Hydro Dragon?
After Focalor passed on, the Oratrice also ceased to function. This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts. From now on, I shall hear cases and pass verdicts by myself.
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the perspective of the Udex, huh?
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. But this power and this duty, in a manner of speaking, you could say that both were granted to me. As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue to serve Fontaine as its highest judge. The duty of the Hydro Sovereign and the duty of the Udex shall coexist within my person. Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem, which is that the Opera House shall no longer produce indemnitium.
That's true. That power was derived from the people's faith in the Hydro Archon, wasn't it? Wait, but the various mechs and machines in the city are all still okay. Where are they getting their energy from?
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute.
Congratulations.
Another reason why I cannot quite leave Fontaine immediately.
Wow. This ancient dragon's authority stuff is really quite useful, huh?
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Alright, what happened to the Gnosis? Why'd you give it away, man?
To the nave as a diplomatic gift or something.
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and I do not need the Gnosis's power.
True that.
As such, it has lost all meaning for Fontaine. If the Fatui have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
What complicated considerations. Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude to the knave and as an apology to Child.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
I guess he said, I don't give a shit. Alright. So, about the next stop in my journey, Natlan.
I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land. As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
Woohoo! Nation of dragons. Fuck yeah, let's go.
You mean like you?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers of them have entered a form of coexistence with humanity. Natlan is also the nation of war.
That's cool.
War ravages those lands like an undying flame. There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the knave that I believe may be useful to you. The harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless
shit
of war.
Oh, that motherfucker throwing himself into the fucking battlefield. He's like, alright, boys, I'm gonna fuck shit up.
A real tough customer. Seriously, everywhere you look, there's a
He ain't the customer. He's yeah, but this guy's the creme de la creme. This guy's number one of the Fatui harbingers, the strongest person in Tevat, the most powerful man in Tevat.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will always be open to you. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Hang on
that's about it.
I got a question about the Gnosis. When we spoke to Linny earlier,
And my
she
sister.
mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis had clearly changed. We guessed that there might be some reason for it that only you were aware of.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. They are certainly sharp. So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting ready to share something with you.
What is it?
In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Oh, okay, you gotta shower for a moment.
Well, we're going to
Back in Glowy Land.
You hurry over soon as well, all right, Nervalet?
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power, what it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. It's quite a novel blend.
Yeah, because the dragons no longer have the purity that they once had, so you had to be born
I'm
as
sure
a
I've
human.
encountered something like this before. What was it again?
I do not know what you speak of.
Ah, of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
Remains? I've never heard of any such thing.
Huh. According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her gnosis to me, but I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
I've been training with my master, the Foul, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. So most of the information I possess, I got from him. It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense, which is why there are so many problems in our attempts to communicate with humans.
Alright, that's cool enough, but what do you mean the third descender? You mean the third descender had a gnosis? But I thought the dragon's authority was the gnosis. Unless the gnosis is simply the medium in which it can hold the dragon's authority. So these chess pieces, although they have the power within them, it's the chess piece itself that's the remain, not the power it has. Because that authority is of the dragons, but they can be stored within these gnosis.
Regardless,
Am
you
I
should
getting it
probably
right?
get
I
rid
don't
of
know.
objects of misfortune to prevent any disasters from befalling you. To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all turn to curses.
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts. And my reason for no longer wishing to return to the surface.
This third descender you refer to, who are they? And when did they die?
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't that important for me to know. If you're interested, though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to pass the answer on to you next time.
Next time? You believe we will meet again?
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger then.
Maybe you forgot you trained him.
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not, I wanted to pass that information on to you.
The remains of
Appreciate
the
it,
third
Chief.
Descender? So that's what the
The
notes
Furdassinger.
Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces. How could they be a person's remains?
All the
Yeah,
same,
good
assuming
question.
that there
Maybe
was no
there's fingers.
misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that is what she meant to say.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is why you gave it to the Fatui.
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary risk by keeping it here.
I am the fourth descender. Well, the Gnosis are related to descenders, and two, that the one who came before me has already died. Which means it can't be your sister. Unless she died and was reborn.
I guess that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect you to be one of them. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third descender. I wonder, does your body also possess similar properties?
Let's dissect him.
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision. That does sort of count as special compatibility, right? No, let's not think about this stuff right now. It just feels creepy. Comparing the Traveler to the dead third descender and all.
Don't worry, I won't die so easily.
Feels like bad luck. Once Child recovers, let's get some more answers out of him. Or go look for his master and get the answers that way.
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking. The same is true of being at court.
All right. Whatever the case, it seems like the crisis here in Fontaine's over for now.
Yes. All of Focalor's efforts were for this moment as well.
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years as a human. Was that really what she wanted?
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will. I suspect
Can you
not.
understand the will of the gods?
But once in a while, I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds in the sky, they will one day return to the earth as raindrops. Life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. The water levels may sometimes tilt one way or another, but the rain falls fairly upon all. And what, ultimately, is the difference between the rains that fall upon all of us?
The temperature? I don't know. And that does it. Man, it lived up to the hype, let me tell you. The only thing I could say that I could say, like, why not, is where the fuck was Sandrone? Well done, Lady Esther, this concludes this play. Were you satisfied? Good. I'm happy to hear that. As for you, Herobrine, besides attaining your freedom, did you find that which you were looking for? Well then, as for us in Yosefka, we still have business to attend to, and concerning that, would you like to join us in this excursion, Herobrine? Good. As for you, Esther, would you care to join us, or would you like to observe on the sidelines? Well, do as you please. And no worries, Yosefka.
or whoever you are, you'll get your chance to face her soon enough. Well, besides maintaining the agreement that I had with Esther, entertaining her, or else the link between this world and where I am currently would be cut off. I guess I did this to try and help. I didn't want my nation to be completely destroyed, despite their persecution of me. I suppose I still didn't want my homeland to be destroyed. But anywho, we'll move on to greener pastures, to say the least. Let's move on then. We have a harbinger to hunt.